Welcome to episode 14, well, episode between 10 and 20, because we don't quite know which episode it is, but I think it's 14, so whatever the episode title says, that's what episode it is. We thought we'd have you in, show you what we get up to on a Saturday. The time's 9:30 in the morning. We're just setting it up ready for the kids, and then we're going to go right through to the kids, the little kids, the big kids, and then the adults at Gracie Barra Rugeley. We've also got a visiting black belt today, Martin Jones from GB Stafford, a good friend of ours, good lad, which is going to be cool. As I say, showing some nice techniques, really looking forward to it. Yeah, welcome to episode 10 to 20, somewhere in the middle, 14.
Right, start jumps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
How are we doing? Welcome to episode 16. Let's go with that one.
1, 2, 3, better. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I hit it as hard as I can and get up as quick as I can. Yeah? 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 Thumbs up? Yeah! 2! See how quick I am, look! I'm on the back, and then I'm just going to stand. Yeah? Easy peasy that is, isn't it? Sprawl. Good game this is, isn't it? Right, so I've got a stride, give out, because of the technical stands. Who had the best technical stands? Lola. Lola, come on, young lady. Well done, young lady. That's really good. That was. Shush. Well done, young lady. That was the best technical stand of the class.
I've got two stripes.
I know you have. Shush.
Oh,
Well done, young lady. Go fist bump.
Fist bump,
Go away. Right. The next one, who's going to get off the wall, is going to be put on by Father. Yes. So, Flo.
Wait, is he a father? Is he a father?
Two on those.
Who? No. Well done, Flo. And I can get up and I'm away.
Now you're going to slowly sit down.
Using mouse.
And go on. Go. Sit. There we go.
I'm going to grab his arm and pull it across. Yeah? He bases, and then I turn. Yeah, what's it?
To your left. On top.
Yes, Miller! Bow, out to each other. Off you go, thank you.
Very lucky today, we've got Martin, he's going to run the class. He's only popping in to have a look, but we enticed him to teach, which is always cool. I used to have a professor on the mat, so he's called me coach. It's professor under the black belt, we respect that. So yeah, over to you, Mark.
Awesome. Guys, pleasure to be here at last. I only met Johnny recently, he came to my gym last year. Yeah, Bradley Hill, one of my old training partners, and it's a good opportunity to meet Gretchen and Mr. Johnny. And Jan was like, he's coming down today, so I rang him straight away, said I'm on the way. And to be in. Right, mount. For me, mount is possibly the most overrated position in all jiu-jitsu. It is nothing compared to an MMA fight, because in jiu-jitsu, he has zero consequence for his face being exposed. So obviously the opposite to that is MMA. So in jiu-jitsu, he will always have his typical mount escapes. These two twins, the twins by the way, I know that's why you wouldn't realise that, he will always frame. He'll hit an elbow knee escape and he'll start to go, and he'll go to quarter guard to half guard to full guard, and then he'll hit whatever system he normally wants, and then he'll hit the submissions. That is unacceptable. If that happens to you, that is not good. The consequences of MMA are totally different. If I just put one elbow on his nose, he is not going to keep his hands by his hips. So the difference is, when you're in MMA, mount is really good. You can open him up. But in jiu-jitsu, mount is overrated. They will always have their hands accessible to escape. You've all seen the kids do this a million times. Bane of my life, all the kids do it instinctively, absolutely useless, don't do it, nothing really comes from it. And then when you do start to let go, and looking for your normal, typical S-mounts and arm drags, don't even waste your time. So, what I'm going to speak about today is how I prefer to, we can start with mount basically, then we can take his back and the whole system will be on the back today. So we can start nice flashy little warm up. Well, this is how I prefer to have mount. My mount is governed by the fact that I'm a small person. If I'm small, I'm used to training big people. You've seen Braulio, who's 8 foot tall, you can't do nothing against him. So if you're sticking in these conventional positions, his elbow knee escape is so easy, nothing really gives him, you go, so easy. He's 15 years of age and you can attack a black belt mount. That's not good. So, this is what I want you to understand. If you're spreading your weight from knee to toe, he will always have access to a quarter guard escape. I don't care how big and bad you are, that leg and that leg, so easy. Once he hits an elbow knee escape, stop there, he's now going to either scrape or lift. Stop there, he's scraping with his heel, or go back, he can get his tiptoes in on the inside, where he elevates, and he can have a lockdown as well, go to lockdown breath, and then he can just, there we go, and then he really calls you, so you get me electric chair underneath, and roll over to your left. Don't want that in your life, not in a million years. So this is what I do. My preferred instant mount is a butterfly mount that stops everything. Now, look what his natural instinct will do now. He's going to start to do the same consequences. Look. If I want to, I can now hit the switch into a gift wrap and I can start to attack. Point being, it's not really about the butterfly, it's about my knees. If my weight distribution is really, really spread out equally, my knee is very light. See how light my knee is? Not good enough. Simply not good enough. You must understand this concept in jiu-jitsu. Heavy hands equals light feet. And as a human being, we have heavy feet, light hands, that's why we can box, Muay Thai, all the good stuff. We must have heavy knees and light legs, because I want him to have quarter guard, because that is my trap. I'm tricking him into a position that I want. So look at the difference. I'm going to step off him a little bit. So look how evenly my weight distribution is. The floor will give you a good indicator. We all have GB mats in our academies, and they give you a good indent on the floor. Look at this. So you can just barely see something there. That's not good enough. So when you lean forward into a butterfly mount, my knees now have 100% of my body weight. Now when someone tries to move that knee now, I'm going to move my knee away, and you can see a huge divot in the floor. This is what I must have as a trick. So, if you're keeping your legs low, he will attack that with your feet, with his feet. And that's an instant quarter guard, which he'll go into a half guard. That's his victory, not mine. Not acceptable. So what I do is this, I trick him to make him think he is winning the quarter guard battle, then I do a little trick at the end. Stay heavy, don't worry about your hands, this is just because his hands are always going to attack. What I do is I lean on my knees, so when he hits the first elbow knee escape, see how my knee is always in his hip. And I've deliberately allowed him to have that. That was my choice, not his. and this is where we trick him into a submission attempt or a back attack. We're just going to walk our hands over this way a little bit, and we're going to bring our shoelaces on the left leg, and we're going to sort of cup his thigh on the top. So once I go heavy knee on here, see how my toes are able to move freely. So once I hit this, I'm now going to put what we call a power pin position. So when you hit a power pin, you're pinning the legs together, and Flynn now will start to try and snake backwards. You see how nothing's happening for him. He's stuck. This is when I hit the counter and I flip the script. I roll through, and I hit the first submission attempt. For me, I love my legs. I'll always hit a calf slicer from the trunk position, always acquiring the head of the snake. But we're going to ignore that. This is brown belt and above, unfortunately. So look at this leg now. I'm now just going to push on my foot. It's called a stomp. And as I push him over, his hips will elevate up. His body will start to rotate, exposing his hip, exposing the gi collar, foot on the floor, little snake, and now we have our 3-point attack to the back. So I'm going to do that a bit faster. I want you to focus on my legs. So just normal generic mount. Never keep your toes on the floor. I don't care how good you are, they will always be attacked. Because I can't see what's happening. And as soon as that right leg steps over, he's got you. That's not my choice. Go back. But if I go knees only and toes off the floor, and he starts messing around now, what he does is gives me the system for free, and I can get it instantly the second that he comes into a mounted position. So, first rule of this, take your time, don't rush into it, and you've got to find your angles. So if you look at me here, I'm going to start to turn here, and all we're doing is rotate into that. Dead easy. So, knees down, heels up. You can go butterfly, but bear that in mind for the future when you're rolling. This is so much superior, because I have both sides. So if I take this leg off and he squeezes his knees together now, I can hit the same system on the opposite side. And nothing changes, because now I can hit the full rotation. So stage 1 is our warm-up. We're going to eradicate this afterwards, then we're going to move on to the back. So I want you to finish on the hooks and seatbelt. So, weight, low. You can cross-face, you can do all your good stuff, you can do your John Danaher, all your good stuff from here, totally fine. But allow them to get the elbow knee escape. And he's thinking, yes. I'm thinking, haha, gotcha. Move your hands. Do your heel up. Get to my toes are caressing the thigh. That's weird, but it is weird. We'll see that connection there. Now I really want to sit on his knee cap, not his dead leg. If I sit on his dead leg, he's just going to turn towards me. And now we have a scramble. You must understand this, a power pin is a pin on this system. So if he starts to snake out, his legs are always together. And that will make him absolutely tired and frustrated. So this is the routine I want from you. Nice and chilled. Let him hit the elbow knee escape and let him have quarter guard. Difference is now my knee is heavy. He's not having half guard, not a chance. Look, he's trying, and then when he can switch, I'm sitting on his knees. Almost like Yoda, sitting down just trying rubbish. Walk your hands. You can start grabbing toes. I don't want it to go complicated just yet. Hold on your arm. And stop. He will not move now until I kick him. You have to put your foot on your own heel, which is called a stomp, or a stomp through him. That leg is connected to his hip's connected to the other leg. As soon as I move that, that will follow. Push, 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 push. He has no choice. Foot on the floor, snake, acquire your hooks, and I want you guys to finish on a nice chilled out seatbelt. Do whatever you want from here. We're going to start attacking the bits and pieces. So full speed. So we're in, rolling, transitioning, nothing special. Quarter guard in, and then you're into a nice take time, have fun. So we're just going to use that as an entry to the back. That's all it was, a little warm-up drill. Now all the ice is broken, everyone's nice and happy. Now, we're going to talk about the back. The back to me is far more important than the mount. Like I said, if you're striking, mount is king. If you're not, you can't see me, look. You can't see me, you can't see what I'm doing. That's the whole key of jiu-jitsu. If he sees me, he can see what I'm thinking, see what I'm doing, and that is a big problem. So, let's just go over some basic stuff before we move on. Your seatbelt is terrible. It really is. All of us have been taught this. Familiar? That is the worst thing you can do on the back. Look what Caleb can do. He's got a baseball bat instantly. Too easy. He can get his right arm underneath my right arm, and he gets it go underneath. No, give me a hand. Underneath, relax. Underneath, and then his hands can come underneath and take the arm away that way. So the point being is this: most seatbelts are taught to be loose. That is the worst thing you can possibly do. If I get a loose seatbelt on somebody, he has no consequences. A seatbelt in this scenario is pretty much on his diaphragm sternum. That gives him everything he wants. So he will leg press, he will baseball, his head will hit the floor, he will snake out, and now he has the option to do whatever he wants. From behind a scramble, and now it could be a 50-50. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. If you're in a tournament and I'm coaching you and that happens, we're going to have words after. So, the consequences are different. This is my preferred seatbelt. If you go low, we'll just establish no good. You may as well just bake a cake, it's the same consequence. We go to a tight seatbelt. You ever seen like Bear Grylls catching snakes and stuff? Outside the snake hole or rabbit hole, there'll be a snare, which is a typical seatbelt. It's loose, it's tight, it's not tight enough. But as soon as the person starts to interact with this, the snare must come up to where it kills people. That's the point. Seatbelts are lazy, because we're taught to be, seatbelt, let's get the back and get hooks in and roll around a little bit. No, not good enough. So what I must be attacking is the clavicle area first. If I put my hands there, he's not remotely bothered about his neck. Not in the slightest. So, if I'm right-handed, I want my hand to be free. If you put your fingers like that, he's going to grab them instantly. Figure four. Now you're stuck. He's now laughing at you going, I've got black belt fingers and I'm just being a pain in the butt. So the first thing I do is do a fist and make sure, when I teach kids, we call it maggot finger or maggot thumb. Looks like a maggot. I'm a fisherman, by the way, that's why I use maggot analogies. So, get this maggot thumb here instantly. See that reaction? That was totally different to a chilled out seatbelt. Nowhere near good enough. So number one, the strangle arm must be tight. Obviously we're all GB peeps, so that GB is your sign. You've got the new rash guards on. Put your fist with a palm flat here. Then we grab over, see that little mountain range there, and my little finger there? That fatty part of your finger is a perfect hooking mechanism where you can hook onto yourself. Most people do this. Gable grip is the most pathetic thing on the back. Look at that A-frame there, look at that space. If I pull him in now, his fingers walk underneath. Look, he's like, thank you. No, I want the total opposite. I want a vacuum, I want everything to go towards his neck. In jiu-jitsu, the neck is the king and queen of a chessboard rolled into one. If you're going here, why aren't you attacking the king and queen? Has to be activated instantly. So, I want tight. And now I'm going to hide the strangle arm with the support arm. Now look at my elbows. If I go into a loose seatbelt, my elbows are exposed. I'm not saying he can armbar me, but there's leverage there for an armbar. And you know, you've all got caught with silly stuff over the years. That will happen a little bit. So, clavicle. Deep. Tight. Now I raise my elbows over the back of his traps and underneath his lat muscle. So when he starts wiggling now, no. He is now in a restrained straitjacket to a degree. So let's go through our little system. So now we've established the seatbelt needs to be addressed, and I'm in. You do not want ever to have anybody leg press you and they put the weight on. This is even changing my voice, and he weighs as much as a packet of Rizla. He ain't going to have a lot of weight on him. So when he goes back down, We must find our angles. The angles are the key to all back attacks. So, tight. Get this. There. That jungle book. We've all been attacked over the years by our big brothers over the years, doing the jungle book on the chest. Tight. Tight. Elbows in. Do not ever lean back. You want to basically look like a Siamese twin. That's what you must look like. Because if he can move his head left or right, that's wiggle room I don't want. If I do this, you can look left or right. That's unacceptable. Tight, tight, elbows in. Then we start to angle up. Foot on the hip, toes down, and we do not ever go backwards because he will leg press. And now you've got somebody on you. Look good. We do a lateral fall. We forward a bit back, it's all over me. Fall to your left ear. His head cannot hit the floor now to escape. He cannot find his baseball bat, he cannot wiggle out, and now I've got him. First things first, let's not trap. This is all basic stuff, I'm just going to do it with my little twist. Foot on the floor, snake away once, and I want you to bring your heel high as you possibly can. Angle it in, and put your heel in that space there. You guys who have motorbikes, kick start. Reinforce. That's all we're doing. Now he's mine. Now this is the predicament he's facing. This is the thing we want, his left arm. He's only going to put his hand on my hand, but he isn't attacking the strangle arm, he's attacking the support arm. This is when the right arm that was hiding underneath the left arm has no restrictions whatsoever. It just walks like a spider. And now we're going to start trapping the wrist into a figure four. Once we start trapping the figure four, we now grab a double watch attack and we shuffle until we hit 2 thumbs on the inside of his palm. That is imperative. If you put a hand on somebody's watch, he's 15 years of age, he's going to hammer fist forward, always comes off. Don't care how big and bad you are. If you're grabbing a watch, you are simply a passenger on his arm. Extend, he will win. But when you shuffle, exposing the palm of his hands with your 2 thumbs in, watch his elbow. So he's flapping like a little chicken. You ever seen a hose pipe left on its own? What does it do? I'm blocking the hose pipe energy so the water sort of comes back in. The hose pipe does a madness, goes on a little flappy one. That's his little flappy. If you see that elbow move, you're doing good. Can't escape now. Try and clap your hands. No connection. If he gets his hands together, he can be awkward. Don't ever let that happen. You can start using separate traps like that, low percentage, but they will come and go as you go. But this is the key. Because eventually, we need to have one. So when he starts extending, you can't go anywhere. He's mine. Then I'll start afterwards. So, second stage is this. Start your hooks in. You see how he's taller than me? That's not good. I want to be slightly off him. So he's more like my little son, so I can choke his head off. If they're tall, you sort of like reaching for the top shelf in your cupboards when you were kids, like trying to get your sweets and stuff. It's no good. Don't have it too tight. Draw him in straight away. Feet falling over. Now he will defend his neck. Perfect. Right arm comes out, grabbing the watch. You can put thumbs in only because we're going to reinforce. Typically I always go for sloth grips, but he's got really skinny wrists and he'll come underneath. Not always the best. So sometimes I'll say it is good because if he does start to mess around with that, you're just giving yourself time to shuffle to here. So this is the drill I want. Nice tight clavicle seatbelt. Try and go for the strangle instantly. This is too nice. This is like kindergarten, like basic stuff. Tight, tight, foot, lateral foot. Now he's only going to protect his neck. 1, 2. Now I can snake out and I can do that second or first. That is not a priority whether you do it first or second. Consequences are you've got both arms under attack. So once we're here in this, I call it more like a diamond guard, a diamond back attack or a diagonal back attack because it's not conventional. So once I hit this system, 1 arm trapped, double doggy paddle if you would, and start to get your thumbs on the inside. If you're exposing their knuckle line, you do everything good. That's nice. Difference is I can't submit him like this, and I'm no way in a million years am I going to waste an armbar attempt when his hands go back together and now he's going to do whatever he wants. And trust me, he taps out purple belts. He's an absolute pain in the bum. So if you give him out 3 back escapes, he'll take it straight away. Don't give him an inch. So, tight, foot, full. He's defending, trap. I wouldn't say go any further than this until you get that. This is my benchmark for success now. Then I'll start shuffling, expose the knuckle line. Then the last piece of the puzzle is you're taking your left hand over the knuckle line. This isn't a submission, but he may tap. You can squeeze the knuckles together. If anybody got the hands like that before, and squeeze there, you do get, I've got little skinny wrists, I've got my mum's hands. Great for jiu-jitsu, crap for MMA. So when you're here, you can do a double squeeze, and you will get a tap. Depends on who you're rolling with. If they're 15 years of age with weak hands, maybe a grown man who's a builder, he's just gonna laugh at you. So look at this, that knuckle will go forward, see that little, that, and then 2 knuckles go around the back. But not a submission, just a little train of thought for you. So grabbing this, shuffle, then we can start submitting it. We're gonna pause there. So full speed, back, clavicle plane, 1, 2, fall. He's got his hands up, so I'm gonna go to this side first. Then I can start trapping. Shuffle. Subjective whether you're a gi guy, because the bow and arrow is one of my favourite positions. I'm going to say something here, I won't go over this. Stop trying to pull the head off. It's the worst thing you can do. Let gravity win. I'm just going to roll him over, and he taps straight away. They didn't even pull a single bit. If you're doing all this, have a word with yourselves. Let him fall over there. Look at this, he's on his left side. Look how much range of motion he's got. That's where you submit people from the bow and arrow. So when the bow and arrow is on, and you're here, he should only tap because of gravity changing from a left shift to a right shift. There's no pulling, there's no like a bow and arrow, like Robin Hood. Nonsense. Gravity should always get the bow and arrow, not the physicality. Full speed, bang, falling, kick, trap, rap, thumb, and now you have the hands free. Try and clap your hands together. That's the best thing in jiu-jitsu. If their hands are separate, life is nice. And if you're feeling brave, hit a little switch, but I always hit a front triangle off this, and when he starts to get to his knees, you can underhook, hit your truce and kaku, and now you're going to get a secondary arm bar again. Nice and relaxed. Just live on the inside of his palm. Both thumbs, two thumbs. One, now, try to get rid of your arms. So when you're rolling, enjoy it and start to look for more clinical mentality when you're rolling. So, if you're struggling initially, this is what I teach this to the kids this morning. Hands on the floor, move your hips a little bit. Gives you all the leg room straight away. Then you can start attacking seat belts while you're drilling. There's no energy involved, just nice and chill. In. Don't look for body triangles. Body triangles are good in no-gi, but if you stepped over my leg, rolls to the side, and puts his left hand on my knee, and slowly bridges, he'll snap my ankle. Stop playing body locks against kids that don't understand how to escape them. Overrated. Really good for no-gi, looking for your ashiguramis and all the good stuff, but in a gi, keep it simple as possible. Hands, moving the angles, tight. See how I'm attacking his neck? Not at any point am I doing this. If he leans forward, why would you let anybody have all that room to move? So the second I hit his neck, he's coming with me straight away. If you're struggling to get the leg over, you need a double shift. Bring the foot close to your bum. 1, 2. Now look how much range of motion I've got. I can even form a back triangle, a rear triangle, where I can start to form the John Danaher system. Everybody's watched the Gordon Ryan system, they're all there. 5 triangles, and that's one of the triangles from there. Point being, if you're doing this, hands in, and most importantly, your partners have got to be responsive. If your partner's got the hands over here, that's just not realistic. Nobody does that in jiu-jitsu. If his neck's under attack, he must have his hands up. Shift, and now my position is easy, very easy. Look how much lower he is than me. I've got a whole head space. If we're both equal, you're going to be struggling to get your angle. You're going to be too close, too tight. Anybody who plays football, if you get too close to centre back, to striker, you get spun, you get just too easy. So tight, bang, in. Trapping the wrist, thumb, fling. Can you move your legs? Keep going. So, what I prefer from here depends on who I'm rolling with. I'm not going to talk about the gi today, because in my gym I always try and cross-train gi and no gi respective, because you have to. The only thing that changes in the gi is this sausage skin. This is not real. Here's the sausage meat, this is the skin. It's not real, it's not real. The body's real. So anything structurally you can maintain is better for the long run. So whenever I hit a no gi back, I do the same thing in my gi. And this is why I'm not going to talk about the bow and arrows and stuff, doing all this old school, outdated stuff that may or may not work. This is analog jiu-jitsu. You've got to be starting to play the rear naked strangles with one arm. It changes the game. So, once we've gone to this knuckle exposure, and we're shuffling, I now have the confidence and the capability to do this. This is a free hand. Clap your hands together. I've got him. He's mine. I own the position. I say own, it's more of a rented position than like ownership. I'm only renting it temporarily. This is when I start to make my mind up. If he's, if I roll with Flynn, I'm just going to be a nice, delicate gi attack, and I'm going to zombie. I say zombie as in, get you off the floor. I'm a 10th planet guy as well, I love my rubber guard and stuff. So a zombie is a term where the hand raises out the ground like a zombie. Do all pirates and stuff, and they don't crack, do all proper off the bit. So, when you're going through all these systems, you're looking for back attacks. A zombie is just a way to get the arm high enough where you can start attacking the old school jiu-jitsu. I can switch to triangles, and I can switch to a Juji-Katami typical arm bar from there. But I don't want that. I want the rear naked strangle to be a single arm strangle, and I don't have to do too much. So I'm hitting the back, hitting all this, and now when we hit a free arm, we turn it into a spider. So the key is this: never attack where his eyes can see. If he can see it, he can avoid it. So we start to use the maggot thumb. This is the key. The thumb attacks from the spine, front to back. If you come laterally, his peripheral vision can see it. Typically he'll look into the choke with his chin down, which gives him a few seconds of survival to agree. If he looks with the choke to his left, he's half an idiot and he deserves to get choked out. That's just common sense. So what we're looking to do is this. I want to make his life awkward by, if everybody puts, don't have to do it, but your jawline, if someone puts a finger under your jawline, you're going to start to go, get off me. It's really annoying. So what I do is this: I take this key, maggot thumb, and I twist from the back. Look at his response. And that will always go through. You do not start an attack where he can visually understand what's going on. This is what I do. It's like Harry Potter. I look at the magic wand behind him. So when he's trying to see what's going on, I'm moving my hips a little bit, I'm exposing his back, he sees it there, he looks at it, then I just come around the back. I'm not trying to be too clever, I'm trying to be elusive. If he sees it, he's not well asked, he'll get over it. But when I'm here, I'm looking to come round the back and turn that key 1,000 times, and now we must start getting our palm opened up, grabbing the posterior deltoid. You grab the medial deltoid, nothing will happen. You grab the anterior, it's pointless. So we're looking to hide and grab the trap, the posterior muscle chains, and now he has nowhere to go. Head forward. This is not a squeezy choke. He's too good. He will not tap over a squeezy. It's one arm. The rear naked strangle needs two. I'm just going to pull my elbow towards my right knee, and the bar will straighten up. See how there's a diagonal bar? I need to make it here. Like I'm sawing his face off. If it's diagonal, it's only going to be a squeeze, it's not the best. So what I do is this, to drag my elbow towards my right knee, and he'll tap straight away. Easiest submission I get from here. The difference is, it's not a strangle as such, it's a lower level wrist attack. If you take your arm as a baseball bat, you've got the fatty part there, too soft, too squidgy, and then it goes thinner to a grip. I've got, like I say, I've got my mother's wrists. That to me, that sharp bit is like a blunt butter knife, if you will. And if I do a diagonal attack into a strangle like this with one arm, it's not very productive. But if I drag this part in towards his neck, you'll start to get it's not a carotid artery attack, it's just an annoying discomfort. And they'll tap because of fear, because they're stuck. He can't move his arms, can't move his legs, and now we have some fun with it. Got him, got his arm. Take your hand away, Don't attack from here. He'll see it. He'll just bury his chin. I don't want to switch to the armbar. I do not want the armbar. I've worked 2 minutes to get here. I'm not going to waste 2 minutes trying to escape. Hand out. Touch just behind his left ear. Look at the response you're going to get. Look, he doesn't want to be here. Just turn it through. Turn that key, turn that key. Your palm opens up and you grab as much as you can around the back. Lock your elbow down and pull your elbow over your right pocket. And that's a wrap. If you somehow made of bloody steroids on steroids, just switch, hit the armbar and see what happens. It's always going to be there, but I reserve them for when I want to, not when I have to. Really, it's up to me when I'm rolling. Seatbelt, turn in, change, trap, 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 trap. Hand away, attack the neck from the back and start to attack from the back. And that's it, simple as that. Grabbing the posterior deltoid, elbow down, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And what he'll do now, won't have time to do this, but he'll start to bridge his hips and relax. This means I come underneath, I hit the rear crucifix, I can switch, and now I can start to attack my Yoko Senkaku, which is it's what we call a side triangle on your back row. So once you hit a Yoko Senkaku, you get the true transitions from a Kimura system, and now we hit the ground in reverse triangle, all in one motion. I have Ude Gatomi's, Kimura, if he extends his arm, you hit Americana on the switch. They are all linked because of the back. If your back's terrible, you'd never be able to achieve any of that system. So, last one. I'm in, thumb, thumb, thumb. And now we just Expelliarmus him up a little bit, you know what I mean? Just take the time, bang. Pull, 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 pull. He bridges and panics. Now I hit the back. And now I've got a rear crucifix. Switch, push, bang. Down the shift, up, he starts to get up because he's worrying, pull the elbow through, and now you hit your Brownlow triangle from there.
Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, notifications, share again, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, share again, go on LinkedIn, go write it in your diary, and then when someone steals your diary it'll say Gracie Barra Rugeley. Let's just share it, let's try and make something happen. Cheers guys.